Hey there, Angie here, the Introverted Bibliophile, and welcome to the Faith and Fiction Chat with me. And I'm so excited to have my guest today who is just joining us. So I'm going to wait for her to pop on. She is on, but I need to bring her onto the video here. Carly L. Carlson is the author of the Christian historical fiction novel, These Wild Dreams of Ours. And I know that that's backwards. It's on the Kindle, but let's see. Okay, she should be popping up here any minute now. Hey, Tiffany. So, Carly has graciously agreed to join me today on today's Faith and Fiction Chat. Let's see if we can get her on. See if it'll work this time. Sorry, Instagram is a little funky. There you are. Hey, Carly. So good to see your face. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can.
this is great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I love the authors that I've been able to talk to so far, and I know that today is going to be really good too.
Yeah,
So, you have a copy of your book.
I do. It's right
Awesome.
here.
These Wild Dreams of Ours. And if you're watching and you haven't already entered to win an ebook copy of her book, please go look for the post that I posted on Sunday so that you can enter to win. It's super easy to enter. And right now, there's one person who has entries on there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the odds are in her favor.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, Carly, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're a mom and a wife and you have kids, and so taking the time out of your day is just an honor to me. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is such a pleasure. I'm really
I'm
excited.
having a hard time hearing you. Can you hear me well?
Okay. I can hear you, but I can talk a little bit louder. Is that better?
A little bit better, yeah. Can everybody else hear her? Tiffany and Allie, can you let us know if you can hear Carly and if you can hear me?
I might just plug in my headphones and then the mic on these usually works pretty good. Sorry. Ah,
Okay, she can hear both of us. Can you hear Carly well, Tiffany?
let's see. Does that work better?
It's about the same.
It's about the same. If
Uh,
I turn you up, is that better?
Not really,
No?
but if they
Any?
can hear you well, then we'll try to go with that. And hopefully I'll be able to hear you.
Okay, well, I can scooch closer too if that works. And maybe that'll pick
Okay.
up better.
Well, we'll give this a try and hopefully everybody will be able to hear both of us well. So Carly, you live in Alberta, Canada, and
Mhm.
you are married with three kids, right?
I am, yes.
Awesome. Tell me about your family a little bit.
Yeah, so I married Alberta farmer and moved to the farm, and we had three kids in 3 years. And yeah, so they are my oldest is six, and then five, and then three.
Oh,
So we're
and
very busy.
you have two boys and a girl. What age
Yes.
order do they fall in?
My oldest is our daughter, and then two sons.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Is she a good little mama's helper?
Sometimes. I mean, she is six, so
Oh, yeah. I mean, that
Mhm.
is still pretty young.
Yeah.
So you also have a music education degree?
I do, yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
I taught music in junior and senior high school for 6 years before I took my first maternity leave, and then didn't ever go back.
Nice.
But
So I'm assuming with a music degree, you would have been someone who played instruments as a
yeah,
child
yeah,
and teen?
yeah. So I taught myself guitar, and I always sang with my mom and my sisters. And then I went into band and picked up the clarinet, and that was kind of my main instrument for my music degree. So that was a lot of practicing, 4 to 6
I'm
hours a day,
sure.
every day.
I'm sure. I
But
I
yeah.
took piano 1 year in high school, I think, and I never did anything with it. So good for you. I just admire anybody that can play an instrument. That is just an amazing accomplishment.
Things.
And then you also shared with me that you've lived in the country for most of your life, but that in high school you spent some time on a forestry crew.
Yeah,
Tell us
I
about
did.
that.
Yeah, it's a program up here in Alberta, Canada called Junior Forest Rangers. And you spend a couple months sleeping on a cot in the woods, and you get your, chainsaw certification, and you chop
Oh,
down
nice.
trees. And yeah, it was really fun.
That's really cool. What made you want to do that?
Well, I was looking for a summer job, and I mean, it's you kind of either choose cashier or something different. So I was looking for something different, and I've always loved the outdoors and working with my hands, and that really
Nice.
appealed to me.
That's
So,
that's so cool. I think in my high school years I worked at the Dairy Queen. Not
oh
so
yeah.
impressive.
Well, I did superstore after that, or the grocery store after that. So,
Yeah, I think once I graduated, I worked at a grocery store, but in between my junior and senior years, I actually worked at a Christian camp.
oh, fun.
So I worked in the kitchen. That was an interesting time.
I actually met my husband at the summer camp down
Oh,
here. Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh, all of a sudden I can hear you really well.
Oh, I'm not sure what changed, but
I don't know, but thank you, God, because I
there
was
we
having a
go.
hard time hearing you.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad.
Oh, perfect. Okay, hopefully that didn't get super, super loud for everybody else, but I can hear you now. That's good.
Okay.
So tell me how your family, your husband and your kids, how do they feel about your writing?
My husband is my biggest cheerleader. He really is. I kind of pitched the story to him and says like, well, a couple of people have read it. They said I should publish it. Like, what do you think? And he's like, let's go for it. So,
Ah,
yeah, and the kids kind of like they get used to it. I'm trying to, it's hard to balance when you're at home with them, and you're like working from home, essentially. But I try to, we set a timer, and mommy works on the computer for 15 minutes, and then I'll be available. And
yeah.
you have to kind of find the balance with the young kids, and but we figured
You
it out.
work in the margins and no pun intended.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I'm sure that they're probably going to love the fact that mommy's a writer some point in their lives. I
Well, it's
hope.
pretty cool because they already like
So,
they'll
what do you?
put together paper, and like they'll draw their pictures and write they're writing books along with mommy. Like
Oh,
that's one of the things that they love to do.
that's so sweet.
Mhm.
Okay, if I'm straining, it's because the volume just went down again, so please forgive me.
It
I'm
might
trying to.
be we have a thunderstorm that's going on here, so it might
Oh,
be the power or something's cutting in and out.
that
So
could be.
it might
Okay,
be.
well, we're just gonna trust the Lord that this is gonna happen and we'll get through it. We'll be
Okay.
all right. So, what do you enjoy doing when you're not writing?
Um, I feel like this is kind of my only hobby right now.
Okay.
But I serve a lot at our church, and I do a lot of like with my music background. I sing on the worship team and play guitar, and that takes up a big chunk of my free time there too. And down at the camp that's close by our farm, that where me and my husband met. That's where we'll go down a couple times in the summer and help out there too. So
Oh, that's so cool. I really love that. And on your farm, what do you guys grow?
it's just grain, so
Okay.
canola, wheat, barley, everything
Okay.
like that. So,
Very
mm,
cool. Very
yeah.
cool. Um, so let's talk a little bit about just we're going to start with when did you get started with Christian fiction, writing Christian fiction, and has it always been something that you've wanted to do?
Um, I I kind of fell into it almost. Like I was always a reader, big reader all the way growing up. Loved Christian historical fiction and really wanted. I felt like I couldn't really feel connected to a lot of the main characters, the women characters, just because I I was such a tomboy growing up. You know, I would rather be out with the horses or chopping wood than playing with dolls or anything like that. So yeah, so I didn't feel very connected to the main characters in these novels that I love to read,
Yeah.
and I always kind of felt like, "Oh, I was born in the wrong century. I would love to
Oh,
be in the 1800s, you know,
yeah.
out on the frontier." So it's one of those, if you haven't found the book that you want to read, you got to write it. So that's I was like,
Well,
oh,
I mean,
I'll take a
it
crack
sounds to
at it.
me like you wrote yourself into Kate.
Yeah, yeah, she's got a
Okay.
lot of me, and I think that was one of the main reasons why. It was just like I wanted, you know, for me and for other people who might be more of a tomboy, but still a woman who longs for love and a family,
Yeah.
and how do you balance that in a culture that kind of makes that confusing, you know? So
Yeah.
so that's what I wanted, you know, and to like honor God with the way, the strengths and the talents that he's given me, um and still honor the femininity that he's also given me, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I wrote Kate, is to like people like me and people I know have connected with her, um, in a lot of ways simply because of that, and that's been really special to them because they're like me. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, God God doesn't make everybody the same, and he didn't make every woman to be this very person. He made us all with different personalities. So I love seeing the different ways that characters are written to where they're not exactly following the constraints of the societal norm at that time. It's like they're kind of busting out and going, I want something different because this is not me. And
Yeah.
just, you did such a good job at showing um, her emotions at at wanting to just buck the system. I mean, she still so badly wanted to honor God and felt like she had to be a certain way in order to honor him. And yet it was clear that her heart was somewhere else. She had these wild dreams, right? That
Yeah,
like her
exactly.
dad,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
you did that really, really well.
Thank you.
So now, I want to know about your personal faith journey. Like, how did you come to know Jesus?
Well, I grew up in a Christian home. Just my parents love Jesus, and that just came like I was too young to even remember when I accepted Christ into my heart, which is I find just it's quite a gift of his, just being able to see his faithfulness throughout my whole life. Um, and so yeah, it's one of those things that it's never not been a part of my life, and yeah, and it's one of those things that when you read Christian fiction, and you know, and it's clean and it's wholesome and it's wonderful, but it's the faith is not really integral to the characters or to the story, and yet it is for me, right?
Yeah,
Like that is, it's my daily life. It's my, this is who I am in Christ,
yeah,
and it affects my decisions and my relationships, and it's part of everything, right? And so I wanted to write something that was more reflective of that. Um, yeah.
yeah. That's so interesting that you say that because now you're my fourth guest author, and you're the fourth person that has said exactly that.
Oh
It's
no.
that they're not just tacking on Jesus
Hmm.
as a way to market their book to more people than the secular, um, but that it is just such a part of who they are.
Hmm.
And I, who was it? Was it might have been Allie, it might have been Heather, but one of them said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Hmm.
And so I would imagine that it's the same, out of the abundance of the heart, the pen writes or the computer types or, whatever.
Yeah.
Because and I love hearing that. I really do. That's the kind of Christian fiction that I want to read because I I'm able to see the struggles that these characters have, and they're real struggles. I don't care if it was in the 1800s, it's still struggles that we deal with today,
Yep.
and just seeing the journey that God takes them on in helping them to trust him more through those struggles and to give those struggles up to him. So
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love it.
Mhm.
Um, do you feel that writing this book has challenged or strengthened your faith in a specific way?
I think I think it has. And I think the Lord actually used the process of writing it to kind of almost like heal parts of myself that, as Kate's struggling, like she's got a lot of my struggles, and that like he helped me process that, and he helped me, understand what was going on, and to move on. Like you might, you go through hard times in life and you feel like you've been shattered.
Mhm.
But then like God puts you back together and you look different, but it's for a new purpose and it's
Yeah.
for a greater purpose. And like and that's kind of how Kate goes through, and me as well. Like I've seen his faithfulness when I lean into him through the trials of life, that um yeah, he puts me back together, you know. Sorry, you just cut out.
I cannot hear you at all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I can barely hear you now. So let's
Okay.
let's just keep moving forward and
Okay, I'm so
hope that
sorry.
it doesn't go silent again. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
Um, talking about the struggles that Kate went through, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to give any spoilers because
Spoilers.
I can so relate to some of the stuff that she dealt with. Um, and some of the stuff was so devastating, like, ah, sorry,
Mm.
sorry.
No.
We lost our oldest son
Mm.
in 2019, and just, I was never angry at God. I was confused. It hurt deeply, but I know that I can trust him, and I know that he carries us through. And to be able to see, these big, huge, devastating things happen in books, and then just see the way God is so faithful and so good, to carry these characters through, even though they're fictional characters. It's like, oh, I get this. Like I know what he's done for me, and so this all feels very, very relatable to me. And not just the loss of a loved one, but also um, the other thing that happened to her that I can't talk about. Like, I've been there too. And like you said, like God brings us out to the other side and we're changed. We're so different. And I truly believe that he allows us to go through certain things, brings us through it so that we can minister to others who are dealing with something similar. And so I just feel like you did an incredible job of helping Kate walk through that grief in all three situations. Like there were three situations where it was just like, I was crying. I was like, no. oh, this is so horrible. But it was so good because she came out of that with such a strong faith in God and just trusted him. Even at the end, she was like, even if this doesn't turn out the way that I want it to, I'm still going to trust you, God, and know that this is within your will.
Mhm.
And that just was so beautiful. If a book can make me cry, I'm like, I'm telling everybody about it because it was so, so good. But on that note, let's talk about that stinking love triangle.
Uh-huh. Sorry, I missed that last little bit.
Oh,
So,
um,
the
the
love
whole love
triangle.
triangle thing, and then I went into who was the hardest character for you to write?
Um, it's tricky. I feel like each character is hard in different ways. Um, I feel like trying to get a male point of view, like writing from a male point of view, is just it's just difficult because they think
We think
differently.
so differently.
So different. I
Yeah.
would often run things by my husband. I'm like, would you react this way in this situation? He's like, no. I'm like,
No.
oh, okay. I gotta write that different. I mean, obviously he's his own personality, but and I found Andrew a hard character to write because he's he's not a villain and he's still a good person. But
But
but so I didn't want him to be bad because he wasn't. That's not, you know, um and that situation was based on something that happened to me when I was a
uh,
lot younger. And so I wanted to like honor that as well, and struggled with okay, how do I make him different and unique, but not villainous, but still not good for
I
cute. You
mean,
know
there
what I
were
mean?
times when I just thought he was such a jerk.
He was he was a little bit of a jerk, absolutely, sometimes. But not a villain, not a villain.
Not a villain, definitely not. Because you're right, he didn't necessarily do evil or, he was still a good person. And I feel like, I don't know. I, I have to say that within this love triangle, there was one person that I didn't trust from the start.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted her to be with the one that she ultimately ended up with.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
That's good.
Because I was like, no, 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 this can't happen. No. So I'm so
Yeah.
glad that it turned out the way that it did. So it's just like,
Right.
okay. But I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to give it
I
away.
know. It's hard to talk about without spoilers. So
Yeah, for sure. So I want to talk about like the whole romance writing. Like, from your POV, like what makes a swoon worthy hero, so to speak, in Christian fiction?
um I've been thinking about this a lot lately, actually, about how we can, as like most of the time it's women writing, Christian romance, and
Yes.
how we can kind of idealize these male characters in our books, the books that we read or write, and how I'm struggling with like that's not it can go too far
Yeah,
by creating these men who are not realistic.
right.
Not like some men can make those flowery speeches that make your heart melt all the time, but
And the
often what
touch of
I
the touch, right? The touch of the
right.
face, like, ah,
But often it's the actions and it's
yeah,
the care that
yeah,
they really show love, right? They might not tell you they love you all the time, but they are there, right? They're there
yeah.
for you, and and they care a lot more with their actions. And so I feel like it's a hard thing to write because you also want to, I mean, even marketing a book, oh, these like swoon worthy lines that my male main character says that like reel people in. Well, he doesn't really say a lot
Yeah.
of that type because I mean he's just more a little bit more down to earth, right?
Yeah, and very
And
just
I
plain spoken, right? Plain
yeah,
spoken, straightforward. Yeah,
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 but a person who cares, and like it's more about his actions and it's more about, how he sees Kate as all of who she is and loves each part and doesn't want to put her in a box
yeah,
of how to act or that sort of thing. And so I feel like it's a hard line to walk because it's also we're made for love. Like God made us for a relationship. And as a woman, like I long to be cherished. And that's
yeah,
something that is true. And so
yes.
writing romance, I think, can be a reflection of a greater love story. Oh, I can't hear me again. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
I know.
I can
It's
hear just barely right now.
okay. I was saying that the um, our love for each other is like a reflection of the greater love story of
Yeah,
God loving His church,
yeah,
and He made us that way for
yeah,
relationship, and that's important,
it
and
is.
and it's good, but it can also we can idealize it, and make it hard to have real life relationship with these characters that are kind of bigger than life or more swoony than a person ever really is in real life.
Right. And honestly, I mean, I didn't think of this one particular character as necessarily totally swoon worthy based on like his personality. Um, but I love the fact that he was so willing to accept her, even even as who she was when the other one was like, no, you need to be in this little box, like you said, And I can only imagine that writing a male character who is not a believer and is interested in someone who is a believer and is very firm about her own like stance on not being unequally yoked. Like how was that? How did that like work itself out in your writing?
um I think it's something that it's a question that a few like of my colleagues would ask me, or I got married late and they were like, well, if this person is a good person but they just don't believe in God, like why wouldn't they're good, they're great, like they love you, why wouldn't you do that? I was like, well, because that is the most core of who I am. So if they
Yeah.
cannot share that, then they can't fully love me. And
Yeah.
so I think that was something that it was kind of a way to address that question of, well, why wouldn't you just like this is a good person? Why wouldn't you just get together? But it's not good, right?
Mm-mm.
It will draw you away from the Lord, and a core part of who you are cannot connect because
Right.
it's we are set apart, we are a chosen priesthood, we are called to heaven, and that is to not be able to be together in that,
Right.
right?
And marriage is hard enough without having you both believing and trusting in the Lord to get you through,
Exactly.
because like I mean I have been in relationships where the guy isn't a believer and I was, and or he wasn't a believer, um and it just I was striving in it. It was just going so against what God wanted for me. And so when he finally did bring me this man who loves the Lord and cherishes me, like I I can completely, I don't know how to say this, but I can really rest in the fact that he's going to care for me the way that God wants him to, the way that God commanded him to in the Bible, like love your wife, you know, and that's an active thing. And it's been such an amazing thing for me because I've been in some really bad relationships, and I'm so thankful for my husband because I look at him and I see that he's a picture of Christ in the way that he cares for our family. So, yeah, I love that. Now, I do have to say that this certain character that we're talking about did have those qualities before, when he still was not a believer. Um, So that, like you said, that's really hard because he still was a really good person and he really cared for her and cherished her. But, you know, that that was such a big struggle for her. So
Yeah.
you really, yeah, that was really, really good.
And it's
So my
something
next
that,
question is, why do you think romance, and you've kind of touched on this a bit, but why do you think romance is such a powerful vehicle for faith-based storytelling?
yeah, I think it's that piece of we're made for relationship. We are made to love each other and to be in community. And as a woman, we long to be loved and cherished. And God made us that way.
Yeah,
And that we can honor him in our relationships, in the way that we even pursue relationships. That and then again with marriage, it is the greatest, like, refining thing that you can enter into,
yeah,
is and then becoming a mom, like the
yes,
self-sacrifice, like the
yeah,
I will give of myself for the good of this person.
yeah,
And then the way that that reflects onto Christ, right? What he did on the cross, like he gave everything for us.
yeah,
And I think that's, like, when we write romance well, it is that, like, I will do what is best for this person even if it hurts me, or that sort of thing, and that
yeah.
can reflect Christ's love for us as well. So
That's so good. That's so good. I really love when there's that parallel of like a marriage or a relationship that um, looks like Christ. I mean, that's not always easy to do in writing because I've read books where it's not, I don't know, it just doesn't quite, it doesn't quite hit the mark. And I feel bad saying that because I'm sure that there's authors out there who struggle with that. But yeah, it's beautiful when it's done well. So, okay. So tell me, do you have any works in progress?
yes, I do.
Yay.
I've kind of written the start of a few different ones. I've kind of started on Kate, and Kate's like, after her happily ever after, 10 years later, you
Oh,
know. So I'm really excited to write that one, but that's not the one I'm working on right now. I'm working on a novel set in something totally different.
okay.
It's in Ireland in the 400s, in 400 AD.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so yeah, it was one of those. I got an idea one day, and I had to write it.
Oh,
I couldn't let it go. So it's about a Roman legionnaire who it gets a call from God to go evangelize in Ireland, kind of like Patrick, pre St. Patrick. So then
sure.
he goes over there, and he actually ends up being captured as a slave. And then it's about him and Aoife, the leader of the village where he is a slave, and him ministering to the people there. And then the two of them, of course, it's a romance. So,
Oh. And
but
when will we see that one?
I'm hoping to have it out spring of next year. but
Okay.
it all depends, obviously. But I'm about two-thirds of the way through writing it for my first draft. Um, and I draft pretty slowly and like I plot a lot. So it's kind of like it's not really a first draft. It's more of like a second or third draft as I'm going. So it should be pretty good after one or two rounds of fixing things and whatnot. And then yeah, so I'm pretty excited.
Exciting. So what kind of research goes into a book like that, or even a book like These Wild Dreams of Ours? Like, how long do you typically research for your book?
Um, for these wild dreams of ours, because I've read so many books set along the American frontier. I really didn't need to do a ton of research, but I did have one book that was just a gold mine. It was like, what did they have in their wagons? How much bacon would they have packed? What were the mule teams like? It was just an amazing. So I read that whole book. Um, but then for this one, for the one set in Ireland in 400 AD, it's like the end of antiquity and then the beginning of medieval, and it's kind of this like weird in between. There's not a lot of information
No.
at all. And so I've been like scouring, reports from archaeological digs that they do in Ireland of like what was their daily life like, what kind of homes did they have, that sort of thing. So I did it about 2 months of just like solid research time before I started
Wow.
drafting.
Ah, that's impressive. And I think it's so impressive when someone can, so you can clearly see when someone has done their research
Mhm.
because it just transports you back to that time, because you don't see that quite as much in contemporary fiction, but in historical fiction, it's just so cool to see, like, where you feel like you're actually there. Like I just got done listening to The Starlit Spy by Rachel Scott McDaniel, and it's set in World War II time in Sweden, and this glamorous Hollywood star goes there, and she is set to be a spy for the Allies, and it was so good, and it felt like I was there, like I could just picture her gowns and the locations where it's really cool. Okay, I have a couple of well, more than a couple of questions for you. Um, but I wanted to be sure that everybody knows how they can connect with you online. So can you tell us that?
For sure. Main place is to find me on Instagram, here on Instagram. So Carly L. Carlson .author. And that's my handle. You can find my book on Amazon. Just search the title and it'll pop up right away. And you can get the ebook or paperback on Amazon. And if you're local, you can always, give me a shout and I can get one to you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so Shaylee, we have been talking mostly about Bars, which is a historical Christian romance set in pioneer times going on the Oregon Trail. That's the one that Carly is holding right now. But she was also describing, I don't remember exactly when you came in, but she was describing her work in progress, which is set in like the 400 AD time period in Ireland. So that one she says is coming out probably next spring, right? Spring. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here are some just for fun questions. What is your favorite trope to write and why?
Ooh. Probably wound tending. I know it's kind of like a small trope, but it's like the vulnerability of those moments and the
Yeah.
tension is, I don't know. It's just a gold mine. I really like it.
Yeah, that was very interesting when when you wrote that in. I was like, oh my.
Yeah,
It's not spicy, it's clean, but it
it's
was just like,
clean.
woo.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite genre to read? I think I can guess, but
Yeah, Christian historical fiction, but also I love fantasy. Like
okay,
I grew up reading Tolkien and Lewis,
okay,
and I often will listen to fantasy audiobooks as as I do my dishes and whatnot. So it's those two are the top for me.
okay. Do you have a favorite author in the Christian historical fiction?
Probably Francine Rivers.
Okay,
She's definitely an inspiration. Just in like she does a gut punch like nobody else, right? And you really feel what the characters are feeling. So I really
yeah,
enjoy her.
yeah. I actually haven't read anything from her in a really, really long time, but I have some of her books on my shelf, so I need to do that. And then in fantasy, besides Tolkien, and did you mention Lewis?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a more contemporary author that you absolutely love?
Um, do you know what? Actually, an indie author who I met, she's from Saskatchewan, and I met online, and then we ended up connecting and we did like a little minis writer retreat. She does fantastic kind of allegorical fantasy. Really, really great. Her name is Andrea Renee. I believe her handle on Instagram is a.renee.author, but
Okay.
she does fantastic like YA allegorical fantasy and it's so
Okay.
poetic. And yeah, I really enjoyed her writing.
Oh, I'll have to check her out because I've not heard of
Mhm.
her before.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you reading a book right now? And if so, what is it?
I am in the midst of, I'm right in between. I just started the Emma and Lion, the Unselected Journals of Emma and
Yep.
Lion.
Yep.
I just finished book one, and so I'm gonna hop on to book two as soon as I can because I really, really enjoyed it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Those are on my TBR. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but they're on my TBR, so I'm hoping. Okay, what is a five-star book that you've read recently, I would say within the past 6 months, and why did you love it?
Ooh. I mean, I'm thinking of Emma and Lion right now, just because I really, really enjoyed it. It was so recent. But it's really quirky. It's written in a journal entry style.
Okay.
But it's so witty and it's just adorable. Like the characters are so quirky, and I literally laughed out loud multiple
Oh,
times. So, but it's also historical, which is really,
yeah.
yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, I keep seeing that. Maybe I'll have to bump it up a little bit. All right. So, do you ever DNF a book? Or are
Yes.
you the type that pushes through no matter what?
I only recently started DNFing, but yeah, it's a tricky thing. Like sometimes it's just not for you, right? And it's just sometimes it's hard to um get, like the pacing isn't great, or like, oh, I don't, these characters are not really jiving, or
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So it's often the pacing at the beginning of a book. If it's just
Okay.
not kind of going anywhere, I'm like, I only have a certain amount of time to read. I have to be able to be engaged pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it when I can be like, my attention is grabbed from the first chapter. Like, grab my attention fast. Otherwise, I can't guarantee anything. And I feel bad because, I used to feel like I needed to push through a book because I was like, okay, maybe I just need to give it a chance. That whole FOMO thing, like maybe there's something that I'm missing out on. But like you said, I don't have time to sit and read a book that is just not doing it for me. So I'd much rather read stuff that I love. So, okay, favorite place to write.
Ooh. Well, I love writing out in the sunshine and, trying to get a tan on while I do that. But I got a desktop and I have it writing software downloaded onto there. And that's where all of my information is now. And it's not really transferable. So I guess I'd have to say my desk where I am right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Last question. What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
Ooh, snacks. Junk food. Oh, I love, yeah. Chips and chocolate. Just give me chips and chocolate and I'll be happy.
That's what we need as women, right? The salty and the sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have chocolate covered potato chips out there. So
Oh, really? I should try that.
just lost your volume again.
Am I back?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Very quiet again. I had you at the good volume and then it dropped but we're almost done. This has been so much fun. I wanted to
Yes.
thank you so much for doing this with me. And thank you for everyone who has joined in. I will be saving this and it will be posted to my feed as a reel. So anybody that didn't catch the whole thing can go back. But be sure that you're following Carly so that you can see when her next book comes out. And be sure, again, like I said, to go enter to win the ebook of These Wild Dreams of Ours. I honestly have to say that I compared her writing. I don't know if you've heard of Linda Ford.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have.
So I feel like there's a
Oh,
good
good.
comparison there, but also Lorraine Snelling,
Oh,
because
quite the
I
compliment.
feel like when I read Lorraine Snelling, I feel like there's just this yearning inside of me to go back to a simpler time. And I felt the same thing when I read your book. So yeah, she's really good at doing that, and so are you, very clearly. But
Thank you.
thank you so much, Carly, for chatting with me today. I so appreciate it, and I just hope that you have an amazing weekend.
Thank you so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. It was just so great to talk about faith and books and everything in between. So thank you for taking the time.
Awesome. All righty. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.